Oh, here we go. We're live. um, for everybody on YouTube, I had to start the Facebook feed already because we're running behind. I was having some issues with getting YouTube going. Um, but we're in Proverbs chapter 3, and we've already talked about um, a lot of other issues. Yesterday, we talked about the what happens, why bad things happen. And so, if you did not get a chance to listen to that message, I urge you to go back and check that out. So, um, today we're in Proverbs 3, and it says in verse 13, "Happy is the man who finds wisdom and the man who gains understanding. For her proceeds are better than the profits of silver, and her gain than fine gold." And I was just saying that uh, in today's time, I'm not even going to say today's society, but in today's time, we tend to place so much emphasis and value on money. But Proverbs, Solomon is telling us, look, money's not where it's at. Don't place so much emphasis on money. And uh, here's why. Okay. And Solomon isn't saying this right now, but these are some of the things you're going to find out as we go along. First of all, money is only temporary. It can go as easily as it comes. And I know for some of us it doesn't come very easily, but you know, we may work hard for it, and whoosh, something happens, and there it goes. So Solomon is telling us, look, don't focus on the money. He's saying wisdom, the proceeds of wisdom are better than the profits of silver, and her gain more than fine gold. Don't pursue money, pursue wisdom, is what the wise man is saying. Picking up in verse 15, she is more precious than rubies, and all the things you may desire cannot compare with her. Length of days is in her right hand, in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her, and happy are all those who retain her. All right. So, for those on YouTube, by the way, please let me know if the volume is not coming through very well. It's not registering very much, so I pray it's coming through good. So wisdom is more precious than rubies, and all things that you may desire cannot compare with her. When you get wisdom, it affects every area of your life. There's not a single area of life that wisdom does not touch. And so Solomon is letting us know her ways are pleasantness, her paths are peace. Seek wisdom. Stop looking for money. Start looking for wisdom. People will say ignorance is bliss. And I understand why they say that, because the more things that you know, sometimes complicate life and make it a little bit stressful. At the same time, okay, so yesterday I was talking with a gentleman about a title, and he was trying to sell me something that he had bought. And so when I looked at the title was in somebody else's name entirely. It was actually the front of the title said the dealership. The back of the title was signed over to somebody that I don't even know. Certainly not the person I was talking to. So the guy I was talking to, he said, well, the person I bought it from that dealership, and they just never got the title into their name. And they did a bill of sale to me, and I haven't gotten it put in my name. And then this person was trying to sell it to me. So that's like 3 people back. And in the state of Mississippi, they don't do what's called double transfers. So the original person that bought the thing has to go and have it retitled into their name. All right. So the person that I was buying it from, they were a simple-minded person, and they were ignorant about the process of buying and selling things. And because they were ignorant about that, and by the way, ignorant is not a bad word. It's not a dirty word. It's not a naughty word. Ignorance just simply means that they don't know something. They hadn't learned it. They were ignorant of it. And so, this gentleman was very, very ignorant about the process of buying and selling. And so for him, the whole discussion yesterday was very stressful. There was no peace involved in it. He couldn't get rid of what he was trying to sell because of the situation there, because he hadn't done his due diligence. All right. So when people say that ignorance is bliss, they're talking about, okay, the less that I know about the bad things going on, maybe the better. I'm not sure I can agree with that, because there's a lot of things that go on in the world. And if nothing else, we can be praying for those things. To remain ignorant is not really a good thing. There may be some cases, but for the most part, wisdom is far better, because for me, and again, I'm not saying I'm wise, I'm saying I've learned a few things. For me, I understood the process of titling. I understood the process of buying and selling. And so I was able to talk to the guy, and it put my mind at peace, because if I had bought the thing, see, I don't know if this guy stole it or not. Based on the title situation, it looks a little dicey. Okay. But if I had gone ahead and bought it, then there's a possibility that I might be facing police charges and things. Even though I was on the up and up, it would have been kind of sketchy. So in that sense, wisdom came in and rescued me. If we look at it from the abstract point of view, wisdom came and rescued me from a questionable situation. All right. So her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. All right. Then it continues, verse 19. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the depths were broken up, and clouds dropped down the dew. All right. God used wisdom when he created the earth. And when you talk to scientists, okay, let me qualify that just a little bit. There are scientists out there that reject and ignore some evidence because they don't want to believe in an almighty creator. There's plenty of evidence out there for God, for the existence of God, but a lot of scientists reject and ignore certain evidences because they don't want to believe. But if you talk to scientists that don't reject the evidence, and there are videos, there are DVDs, there are interviews chocked full of some of these scientists coming out and showing you the evidence, showing you how awesome God is and how much wisdom he put in to a lot of these creation things. And without the ability to convey things by DVD and video and all this kind of stuff, Solomon is telling us God by wisdom founded the earth, and by understanding he established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths were broken up, and clouds dropped down the dew. Verse 21, my son, let them not depart from your eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So they will be life to your soul and grace around your neck. Now let's stop right there for just a second. Oh, well, I'm sorry, that broke up a thought here. Then you will walk safely in your way, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, you will lie down, and your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid. Okay, let's stop right there. Now he's going to a different thought. All right, so when you have wisdom and discretion, he says they will be life to your soul. Now, you've got to understand, Solomon was speaking from a position of kingship. He was speaking from a position of a monarchy. And so when he says they will be life to your soul, what he's talking about there is that if you go before a king and act stupid, or if you go before a king and are foolish, you could actually lose your life. You could be beheaded. You know, there are some places of the world where that still exists. So he's saying wisdom and discretion will help you stay alive, and it will be grace to your neck. In other words, it'll give you favor. It'll help you out in circumstances. He says, then you will walk safely in all your way, and your foot will not stumble. When you have wisdom and discretion, you'll be able to choose your next step, your next choice wisely, and it won't mess you up. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, you will lie down, and your sleep will be sweet. If you order your life with wisdom and you use discretion, you don't have to worry about people coming into your house. Some of this has to do with security measures. All right. If you do your due diligence to secure your house, chances are you're not going to be you're not going to have an intruder. All right. But let's take it beyond the physical measures. Let's take it beyond the natural. There's a supernatural element to this as well, and we'll have to look at some other scriptures for this. But um, if we put our trust in the Lord and we seek Him for protection for our homestead, our family, our property, we can trust God to keep us safe. We can trust God. We have, my wife and I, there have been numerous occasions where we felt threatened by some individuals. Um, a couple of those occasions, we had provided shelter to someone who was homeless, and some people would say that's not wise. I would counter that is wise if you consider that wisdom is the fear of the Lord, and God said to help out strangers, to show hospitality to strangers. So whenever we take in somebody that's homeless and provide them shelter and try to help them get on their feet, we don't do it out of being unwise. We do it out of wisdom, knowing that God told us to show hospitality. And so we take our stuff and we put it in God's hands and say, God, we trust you with this. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. From a natural standpoint, that seems foolish because how do I know that the person's not an axe murderer? How do I know that the person's not a rapist? I tell you the truth. We actually invited somebody into our home who stayed with us, who later revealed to us that they were a murderer. This person had committed murder before, and um, he admitted to us that he had visions of killing us in our sleep. But guess what? God did not allow that to happen because we put our trust in Him and we obeyed Him and we gave that person a place to stay. All right, so you tell me, is the wisdom of man better than the wisdom of God? We've seen the wisdom of God in action before. So, where I was going, but that was kind of like a little rabbit trail, but it was a good rabbit trail for learning from. But in verse 24, when it says, "When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, you will lie down, and your sleep will be sweet." Well, for one, when we showed that hospitality, we slept securely. Granted, after the guy told us that he had visions of killing us in our sleep, we had to let him leave. Um, I think that was the wise thing to do at that point. Um, but before he told us that, we did sleep sweetly. Um, but as far as general security goes, my wife and I have at times prayed. We have felt threatened, and we prayed and we asked God to station angels around the house to protect the property. And once we did that, we put our trust in God and we weren't afraid anymore. We said, okay, God's going to protect us. We asked Him to put angels there, and we believe Him. We believe He's going to put those angels there. We believe He's going to protect us. Now, You're not going to find that kind of mentality everywhere. You're not going to find that kind of faith everywhere these days, because I know at least a lot of the people that we run into here in the United States, they they are so accustomed to what people want to call common sense, which the definition of common sense is man's wisdom. All right. So whenever you hear common sense, think man's wisdom. I like what how one preacher put it. He said, um, common sense doesn't come from God, because when does God ever do anything that's common? Okay. So when you hear the phrase common sense, think man's wisdom. The world we live in is so accustomed to man's wisdom that they don't know much about God's wisdom. And that's why we're doing this study right here. That's why we're doing this study. To try to get a little bit of God's wisdom under our belt. Now he says in verse 25, do not be afraid of sudden terror, nor of trouble from the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Look, trouble sometimes comes, whether we invite it or not. What Solomon is saying is don't be afraid when that time comes. Put your trust in the Lord. Why? Because the fear of the Lord, the fear of offending God. And what's offending God? Offending God, if I say, I trust you, but then I don't act like it. If I say, okay, let's just put it into a common type situation. If I say, I trust you to go take the trash out, and then I go ahead and take the trash out myself, that could be offensive to that person. Because my actions are saying, I don't trust you. My words are saying, I trust you, but my actions are saying, I don't trust you. And how often do we do that? That same very thing. We say, God, I trust you for this, and then we go and do something else. God, I trust you, but I'm going to go ahead and do it myself. How many times do we do that? But if we are encountered with a situation that where trouble comes, and we say, no, God's going to help me. God is going to be my voice. God is going to be my lawyer, my abogado in Spanish. No, God is going to be my protection. When we take that attitude, it honors God. God likes that. Anytime that we say, no, I'm going to put my trust in God, it puts a smile on his face. It puts a smile on his face. But whenever we try to take things into our own hands, that's offensive to God. Don't tell me you trust me and then you do it yourself. Don't tell me you trust me and then you look for other options. There's some qualifiers to that, but anyway. Well, it looks like we are running low on time. I think that'll be a good stopping point right there. We'll finish up chapter 3 probably um, in the next lesson. Um, so, in the meantime, y'all have a great day. God bless you. And we'll see you probably tomorrow, Lord willing. All right.